I am finding I'm getting the ZMS theme tune in my head these days after all these commentaries. It's fantastically back. I've been away and back on ZMS for another live stream commentary. This time on my own race, West London BR race 4.4, Tiggy Winkle's Tempest. Tiggy Winkle's is, as I will explain later in the commentary, an animal hospital, and we are going to finish at the animal hospital where they take in, if you find animals injured in a field or on the road or anything like that, you take them along there and they look after them. So they are a charity, and I think they are one of the world leaders in that sort of thing. And certainly while I was there wrecking this course for this race, I met a fellow cyclist who was bringing in a bird that he'd found. In fact, I think his cat had attacked it, actually. That was it. But anyway, they were absolutely marvellous. It's a marvellous charity. And they have a little kids centre where you can look at the animals as well. So we see here, we're starting. Now, you see where that bend was at Southwestern? That's where the one rise you can see in the profile is. Now, it's never very steep. It's only about 3%. And the rest of it is pretty much sort of, it's downhill, but it's sort of flat downhill. You know, I mean, your eyes are telling you. You can see that little loop, and there just finishes at Tiggy Winkle's at the animal hospital. So you can see, that little first straight. Then we do that right-hand bend. That's at about 1.5, 1.6 kilometres. So if you're racing, what you've got to watch out for is between 1.5 and 2.9 kilometres. You will be going uphill gently, but I think that's probably what will split the peloton into 2, maybe 3 groups, and then everybody can race in their own peer group. I prefer this. I mean, I like this, and I also myself in a group further back, but I like the idea that I'm racing against similar riders. At the front of the pack, we're looking out for names like Valter Miles Askew, and of course Ned Bowen, who are leading the pack. But I think the top 15 in this series are all within striking distance of winning this. And you really don't want to miss a race. Poor old Nick Greenhalgh missed the last race, and that's his chances of retaining the trophy that he currently has. So you see all on the start line there, 51 seconds. There's 81 riders on the line, which is fantastic. Thank you for coming along. We enjoy having you, and you are a great social bunch as well. 39 seconds to go. Remember, if this is your first time you have got the commentary on, you really need to start pedalling hard at about 6, 5 or 4 seconds before the race starts to get yourself off with that bunch and keep yourself in it. As I say, I think the big shake-up, if there is going to be one, is quite early, 1.5 kilometres. So you can stay in the group up to the 3rd kilometre. I think you're in a great chance of competing for the sprint finish. Now then, this is starting just about in a village called Lucknow in Oxfordshire. It's right on the Buckinghamshire and Oxfordshire border. And for the British amongst you, you will probably... Oh, there we go. We're off. So this first little bit out of Lucknow is reasonably flat. And you can just see the charge. Now, usually this does bunch up a little bit. But this may be a case of, I think there's a peloton splitting quite early looking at the pace this is going at. We're looking at 60 kilometres an hour at the front here. This is I think that is going to splinter into an elite group at the front. What's that, 35, 36 riders maybe? There's a few people just about hanging on, and if they can make it, that's great, but if they don't, it's going to be very... Well, I mean, once you're off one of these groups, and you can see that little group, there's 3 of them have got back on there, and then the next group are just adrift, and it's hard work getting back on. We're still looking at 50 kilometres per hour speed, and I think that split has happened. I might be wrong, but I think... Oh, I don't know. No, I am wrong. Look, somebody's coming across here. So, we're with... Sorry, all my picture's just frozen, so hopefully that's not happening to you guys while you're riding. No, I'm back on. That's a bit jerky. Must be the helicopter blades interfering with the transmission. There we are. We're back. So we're 1.2 kilometres in, about 300 metres, and that climb's going to start. And this has split into a group. I can see Stuart Gillies there from Twickenham CC in there. And well done, Twickenham. They got a second team in. They missed the first race, put a team in from race 2. And have now got a second team that they're building, so absolutely phenomenal. 2 new teams in this year with Watford Velo, who are doing superbly well. Probably playing a little bit of catch up and learning, but I think they're going to be a bit of a force going forward. So we see Thomas Ponitkowski at the front here for Moon Riders, Polish rider, and G Barnett behind him. Matthias Bergqvist, Kasper's Hederdam, Jan Linden. These are all familiar names. Alistair McAlpine I see there, and James Curry. Yes, these are all the names of James Melville up there. Julian Fussell. Nice little showing from both Moon Riders and particularly Southborough as well. Jan Linden for the Netherlands on the front at the moment with Kasper's Heddenham. Dane just chasing him a little bit there. So it's early days yet. I don't think these sort of breaks. I mean, if you look on the left-hand side, you can see there's not many meters pulled out, and I don't think these are intended to be breakaways, but they are on this climb. And what happens here, you can see Ned Bowen's doing it now. He knows. Ned Bowen's an experienced rider. He knows that he probably won't get away from everybody else on this climb, but the power he's putting on this climb will drop people off the back of the group. And you can see that the group's turned into a long line there. So even though the gradient's only 2.2%, as you can see in the top right-hand corner, you can see it strings out the field. Anybody that doesn't manage to cling on to the back up this climb, and we haven't got too far to go now, because I'll say it's about 2.9 kilometres it ends, so it's pretty much downhill for most of the way after that. When I say downhill, it's not one big descent, it's a sort of kind of very shallow descent. I don't think that's done enough damage, to be honest. I mean, that's strung out, but on a downhill, I think the people at the back of that strung out line are going to have enough to get back on. So we've just been through Southwestern, and now we're heading off towards Heddenham, where that's going to be confusing with Kasper Hederdam and going to Heddenham. I'm probably going to get that. Nick Greenouch firing away at the front. Just remind us that he's back and he's firing back on form. Great to see you, Nick. And he's riding for Ratio Racing, of course. You see John Samet there. Mark Rowbottom putting out on the front for Ratio as well. Nice Southborough jersey on display. They are rather nice jerseys, the Southborough ones, aren't they? I do like those. Stevie Mays out in the front says go beyond, and he's gone beyond everybody else momentarily. Carlos Sella from Madrid now taking a turn on the front. I don't think anybody's really going to push for a break right now. I may be wrong, of course. I have been wrong on many occasions, but I think this is one where it'll be a case of everybody does a little sprint on the front, and a little spot on the front, I should say, and after that somebody else will take over momentarily, and I think the combined effect of the pressure will just wear out some people on the back. Now, I have to say that as I'm not one of the more elite riders, I very rarely manage to stay on these sorts of groups. And the game for me is to stay on as long as I can, and if I stay halfway through the race, I see that as an achievement. And it's people like me that you drop probably up to about halfway. In the second half, you start doing the damage, I think, on decent riders who've pushed themselves to stay on, or maybe burnt a few matches getting on at that frenetic start. So you see the, to be honest, the view. I know, sorry, I've got a cough, so you might have to excuse me. I'm laughing because the view from the helicopter that you're seeing now is not too dissimilar to the view you'd actually get in real life on this occasion. So whilst we've got stock scenery, it's not totally unrealistic. Anyway, so I'm just interested to see, I try and work out how many are in that group. We've got something like 79 riders still racing. And this group here, Christophe Contant, come on pedalers, yes, go on guys. Be nice to see you in one of these races, Christophe. Christophe was regular in Series 3, but I haven't seen him recently. Comes from southern France in the Rhone Valley, I believe. So, Beams for pedalers. Oh, we've got pedalers on the front. John Beams. Now, John Beams is quite an exceptional rider, I have to say. I had the privilege to commentate on his phenomenal performances in the Tour. It became Tour d'Alps, didn't it? It was Tour de Suisse, and then it had to change its name. Now, John is a fantastic rider, and I'm not going to bet against him doing something spectacular in this. Carlos Sellers having a little go off the front there. Wouter Clay's tucked in, we can see. Mark Rowbottom in there. Wouter Clay's from East Flanders there in Belgium, riding for Moon Riders. And the other green, black and white kit you see there from OTR. Sorry, Wouter Clay's is... No, Wouter Clay's is Moon Riders, isn't it? I'm reading OTR across the top of the name, and that suddenly confused me. We've got Soderberg in the OTR jersey there. So green, white and black is obviously the colours to be seen in these days. 2 teams opting for that. So when you're getting your Black Friday cycling kit, look out for some green, black and white stuff, and you'll be up there with the best of them. It's nice to see. It's nice to see Southborough out at the front there. It's Mark Rowbottom, 2 Southborough jerseys up front. That's really good. Tom Moss, one of them, and let's say the James Melville. Now he's another name of note in these. Now James and Alistair McAlpine are a 2-man team, Glasgow United, and the team results get published later when I collate them all. They're a 2-man team, and they're punching up there at the top. Now the way the teams work on this particular series is you have a team of 4 riders. You're allowed to change them for each race, but you can put up to 4 riders in as a team, and the top 2, the points that the top 2 score individually go towards your team. Hello, Daniel. Daniel from Portugal. Great to see you, or see your name up there, and cheering on for OTR. Go. Thanks for tuning in, Daniel. I hope the bike rental business is going great. If you need a bike rental in Portugal, he's your man. So we see Casper's heading it. Now Casper's likes to do these aggressive little pushes off the front. And I say Tom Moss amongst the Southborough riders. Just going, look at that 4 Southborough up front now. 5! My goodness. They have become Southborough, the new team. Sky and Ineos Grenadiers. I mean, they working as a team here. I know Ratio are quite good at this, but maybe Southborough have been working something out. If you enjoy a Friday night race, look out for Southborough's very own race. It's not too dissimilar to this sort of racing. It's called Friday Frenzy and run by Simon Miller of Southborough District Wheelers. Southborough, if you don't know, is near Tunbridge Wells in south east England, in Kent. So look out for that Friday Frenzy. OTR have got quite a few nice races coming up as well, so look out for those. Moon Riders, I see, are putting on some events too. So all these teams are organising themselves as almost as traditional cycling clubs, but online, which is fantastic. So here we are. Per Soderberg, riding for OTR. As I say, they've got some fantastic events on. And James Melville doing one of those pushes out the front for Glasgow United. As we hit 7.75, so we're about to go through the halfway stage. There it is. There's the halfway banner, and we've got this quite chunky group. I mean, we did predict that there would be a bunch sprint. This isn't 79 riders. I'm trying to give myself. It's probably about 40 at most, isn't it? I don't know if we can pan on the next group back and have a look and see what that's looking like. We're about 8 kilometres in here, and it's starting to rain. That's Oxfordshire for you. We're in the Aylesbury Vale. If you know the area, it's a very flat vale around Aylesbury that is sort of, I suppose, the distance between the Buckinghamshire border as you head towards Oxford. Going back here now, so we're looking at, we are sort of, how are these people? These are in 30 seconds, so that suggests, if this is group 2, that there's 30 riders in group 1, so my estimate of 40 didn't put out. Paul Hinson, Daniel Green in there from Watford, Darryl Green, sorry. I'm just trying to read the other names, I can't read them all. So that's a decent bunch. Now this is what I end up doing. I end up in a little group like this, and we all sort of work together, and there might be one stronger than the other, but we have our own little race at the end. And this is the delight of a non-categorised race, is that, you know, natural selection means that if something does go wrong, you can have your own little race. See Simon Hall's in there as well for Watford Balo in 32nd place. See, Watford wearing the orange kit there. Actually, there's 3 of them, isn't there? And yeah, so they're working together. I mean, they're working together in the last race as well. So yeah, so they're riding as a team. Ben Hammer-Phillips from Wales, a man who put the Ratio in Ratio Racing. Yes, Ben, great to see Mark Rowbottom back in the mix. He's had a nasty few weeks with the hospital visit. I didn't know that, Mark, and that's fantastic you're back on the bike. So well done for joining in tonight, and thanks for your message, Ben. Let's say Ben is the man who put Ratio into the Ratio Racing team name. Ratio is Welsh for racing, so it's racing. So here we are. John Beam's still out on the front. As I say, John is a particularly good rider. I've only seen him ride on hills though, so I don't know quite what he's like at the sprinting yet. So I'm going to have to sort of confess my ignorance as to John's sprinting ability, but I know he's a phenomenally strong rider. There's no doubt about that. When it comes to sprinting ability, the master in this pack is, of course, Ned Bowen. Ned knows how to sort of just do that last surge in the last 200 metres. But don't write off, there's plenty of others who are quite good at this. Carlos Sella has had some phenomenal sprints. Not always quite winning, but when he does, he wins his stuff. Mike Addy there for OTR. Again, you can see that distinctive jersey and that flash green in the shorts there, makes them stand out. The GCN jerseys are usually the 2 Glasgow, yes it is, Alistair McAlpine. So if you see the GCN jerseys, they're usually the, as I say, the Glasgow United ones. 3Rs, wearing those 3Rs don't enter a team in this, so it's not that vital that you recognise the jerseys from the team competition situation. They ride in it, but they haven't got a team. I'm not really sure why, but maybe next time. By the way, if anybody's watching and wants to enter a team, we'll quite happily take teams during the series. I mean, obviously, if you start late, you're going to miss out on early points, and your chances of winning are obviously a little bit slight. But you can join in, and it's probably not a bad way of getting your team to sort of like, you know, work out how they work together and who should be in which team if your club's got more than one. And you know, so as I say, I wouldn't write off the idea of you know, putting in a team, even if you can't win it this time round. Tom Moss goes off the front for Southborough. Nice little Southborough trio in the front there. Let's see, James Curry there, who had a phenomenal first 2 races for Southborough. Greg Barnett and Tom Moss. James Melville now doing one of his custom pushes off the front. Casper Seddenham doing similarly, but 4th place, closing down that gap, not having. James Curry sitting in there for Southborough, the Ratio rider I see just below there. That's Mark Rowbottom. No, it's not. Yes, it is Mark Rowbottom, isn't it? So as I say, there's about 30 riders in this group. We're down to 78 left in the race. We started with 81, remember. It's highly likely that somebody somewhere has had a mechanical. A big shout out to the Twickenham ladies who are taking part today, Claire and Lisa. We should be looking out for you, especially. And thanks for putting out your little duet there. It's fantastic. So Twickenham ladies get a big shout out today. And as we see, there is a push off the front here. What sort of gap we got? Not enormous. Oh, sorry, that's not a push off the front. It's 30th place. So Hammond has probably got caught in no man's land. I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether he's been dropped out of the front pack, leaving it at 29, or whether he's shot off the pack behind. But I think the pack behind started at 31, so I'm guessing he's dropped. Now, what happens quite often in these sort of situations is that you get, once you're out on your own, it's very, very difficult. There's no draft effect. And what happens, the group behind that you can see now will probably catch you up. And when they catch you up, you actually find that the draft effect is great. So what I tend to do, and I know other people do, is sometimes I don't push too hard when I'm on my own, and I let the group behind catch up because it's a lot easier. Paul Stuart Gillies from Twickenham just dropping off a little bit there, as Marcin from Wrocław in Poland. Thomas Nygren in there. His son's Daniel Newberger from Germany. Pat Heron. So these are decent names. That's certainly, and I think that first hill, that start and that first hill did the damage. So it has formed itself into this elite group of about 20 riders. As Tomasz Poniatowski, hurtling out 400 kilowatts, and Nick Greenhouse probably doing something similar, if not more. 443. There, I told you. I have to say, these guys at the front are proper racers. There's no real need, if you're not a proper racer, to compete with these guys. As I say, you can quite happily just find your natural level at one of the groups further back, and it's just as much fun. But these guys at the front know what they're doing. They're seasoned riders. We see names like James Melville, John Summit there in this Elite 29. We're down to the last 2.5 kilometres. So this is where it gets interesting. You might see one or two people go out for a little bit of a dig and see who responds. And once or twice, this worked. My view is that 2.3 kilometres, even allowing for the fact it's almost pan flat to the end, as John Summit there goes off, it's unlikely it will work. Is my I think 1.5, have a dig and see what happens, but not yet would be my view. So it's not time yet, I would say. John Beams is on the front now. As I say, he's a strong rider, but I don't know. I haven't seen him in a sprint race yet. I would hate to have to race him up a hill, though. In fact, I don't think you could even call that a race if it was in. That group looks thinned out to me. That does not look like 29 riders. I'm just going to quick chance to look at it. It's, I think, yeah, you can see somebody's been dropped off the back there. I think one or two have. They're pushing out 41 kph, so you know, as I said earlier, you know, the attritional effect of this. Now, if you look at the map, which is sort of on the right-hand side in the middle of the screens, Casper's headed him. Now, he does like a pig, and you'll see what damage he can do. You can see there's a left-hand bend. As soon as you have that left-hand bend, now that's where I think the sprint ought to start. And that is basically a straight road all the way to the hospital. And you can see, I think there might be a Southborough rider just moving off the back a little bit there, maybe not, I don't know. So it's 1.2 kilometres, and we're going to go through the Flamme Rouge. You can see it up there. Now, it's the left-hand bend that I think is the signal, and here it is, right on the Flamme Rouge. So here it is. Now, this, to me, is where I think if somebody's going to have a go, they're going to have a go. Are they going to be coy? So, all bets are off, but, well, maybe all bets are on. If it is a bunch sprint like this, and excuse my cough, I'm getting too excited, obviously. I think if this is a bunch sprint, I would put my money on Ned just because he's done it so many times. 700 metres to go. It's still too early, though. It's still too early. There's pressure on the front. We're doing 43 kph, and we've done more in the race, but Christoph Contant, the show is on. Go, 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 riders. You're dead right, Christoph. Thanks for helping me out. Could have done with it. You could have stood in for me today with this cough I've got. We've got 400 metres. And is this James Melville? Oh, James Curry. Now, James Curry's had a couple of brilliant results early in this series. Sorry, this is the right-hand turn that I really meant, is I think where the sprint starts. When I was talking earlier, I was confusing the two right-handers. So we can see the end. Now, James Curry has got 11 metres, 160 to go. I don't think they're going to let him do that. You can see it closing down. Wouter Clay's coming through. Now, Wouter Clay's is leading in the general classification at the moment. I think on the... Oh, I think he just got pipped there by Ned Bowen, didn't he? Oh, no, Wouter Clay's. Oh, right, no, Ned Bowen. Ned Bowen. So, my prediction was right. That is Ned all over. Just sneaks in there. That must have been a will. And congratulations to Ned. Commiserations to Wouter, although another fantastic ride. Actually, it says on the results there, that was 4 metres by Ned. I know we had an aerial view. But he just snuck through there on the inside, as Ned so often does. He just knows how to time those sprints to perfection. Another great win from the man from Chicago. The man from East Flanders coming in next. Jay Miller from New Zealand coming in third. Cavaliers from Germany. Third, Jan Linden, Netherlands, fifth. James Curry, another great result for Southborough. I think Southborough can have a good season. I mean, James has got some great results. Now we're looking a bit further back now. As I say, this is. Now you see, there's some names in there. I'm surprised to see that far back, if I'm honest. So let's just have a look at the top 20, and then we'll go back to some of the other riders. Ned Bowen, Wouter Claes, Jared Miller, we know about. Mario Gavilis coming in. Jan Linden for Pokemotion. James Curry, as I say, Southborough. Nick Greenhouse, 7th, the reigning champion, of course. Matt Feely coming in now in 46th place. Now, Matt will probably be a bit disappointed with that. I mean, you'll have to ask him. And Dix as well. I mean, Julian Dix is. I always say Julian Dix. It's James Dix, isn't it? Julian Dix played for West Ham, didn't he? Yeah, so some of these riders are pretty good riders and will be disappointed with those positions. Although I think they're seasoned enough to recognise that once it says Nico Fluge from Germany, David Buckley coming in there from Leatherhead. Tim Cummins there, who lives down the road from me actually in West London. Putting out 300 watts as he comes in. Tim's a fairly decent rider. I mean, I don't think Tim would expect to be in the front group, but he sometimes manages it, and he has been known to hit those heights. So I've no doubt with Tim, though, that'll be a strong ride. He's a strong rider. I know him well. So let's go back. So we've got the top 30 now, which is great. So you see, let's look at the time gaps here. I mean, we've got. We're looking at sort of 4 seconds back to 20th, aren't we? Back to 22nd. So the front group was something must have happened to Casper Heddenham. That doesn't make sense to me. Casper being 5 seconds off the front does not look right to me. I think he's had a problem. I'm sure that will be up for discussion on the discussion boards. Something's happened to Casper there. He doesn't usually finish 5 seconds down. I might be wrong. It might have just been one of those nights. Great to see the others in the top 30 there. Hope you already know. We've got the top 40 now. It's getting even better. This is all coming to you from ZMS, and special thanks to Damon, because he actually we weren't sure whether he'd be able to do this today, and he's pulled out all the stops and made it, and he's put in a fantastic effort to deliver this stream. So thank you. So Casper Heddenham, Rob Miller, Will Hutchins, we'll go up to 7th, and then you get this big gap, 26th back to Steve Mays in 27th, 31 seconds down, and you see that little group there with Tom Moss and Matt Hammond and Terry Harvest and Paul Hinson, Simon Hall from Watford. Well, in fact, there's a gap between Terence Harris and then Paul Hinson and Simon Hall from Watford. Daniel Neubauer from Germany. I mean, Dan's had some great results in the past, so he might be a little bit disappointed with that. Stuart Gillies putting in for Twickenham CC, just in front of Pat Heron, Tom Birch, Simon Miller from Southborough, a little bit down. It's obviously, Simon, you're working so hard on all those Friday Frenzy races you're organising. Andrew Beale there from West London is 38th. That's up from 40th in the last race. So you're putting in some good shows, Andrew. Well done. Darryl Green from Watford pulling into the top 40 there as well. So these are all decent results. You can see the difference though, 1 minute on that, and I think that is a case of the course was so fast that it did allow the front bunch, once it was away, to put in a very, very stiff test. Can we go back to the rear riders at all, Damon? I'm not sure. I'd love to see the Twickenham ladies coming in. Oh, there we are. Is that Claire Miller, I think, who's one of the Twickenham ladies, 69th there. Well done, Claire. I assume that's Claire. I'm guessing, but I think that is. So, if I'm right, it's Claire Miller. Look, it says on the bottom. Well done, Claire. I think this is Claire's first race, and well done for taking part. It's fantastic to have you along. Lisa West in 71st, we can see a little bit back. Jay Peters from Belgium in 74th. I think it's probably the final rider, maybe not actually. Jay Peters is my wife's maiden name. That's not my wife riding, I can assure you. So well done, Claire, that's fantastic. And Lisa West from Twickenham. Thanks very much for coming along, ladies. So this is BJ Bivol for Twickenham CC. Lisa West, well done, Lisa. thanks very much for putting it all together. She's a lady who holds it all together for Twickenham. Does a fine sterling job down there at that cycling club in West London, of course. Lisa slightly sitting up now with 500 metres to go. Probably she's looking as cool as a cucumber riding on the avatar. She's probably huffing and puffing and thinks, well, there's nobody behind me, I might as well just sit up, because the next rider's 300 metres behind. And Lisa gently rolls home for the last 400 metres. Very proud of her achievements. She's done that in 27 minutes, and let's face it, for club riders, these are decent times. Let's not undermine any notion that these, because you're racing against some great riders at the front, that finishing further back is anything to be ashamed of, because actually you're still getting good times. To do these races in 27 minutes is a decent time, I think, for the average cyclist. So, you probably find most of the people that ride a bike couldn't do it at this speed, even if the fast racers at the front here can. So Lisa coming home, comfortable, nearly 300 metres in front of Schlemm from Germany, Maltby from Canada, JT from, I'm guessing that's Austria, Jay Peters from Belgium, and I think behind that we're looking at cameras. So I think we're going to look at 75 finishers from 81 starters, and we like to see the last guys come home, because this is an inclusive race, and we want everybody to enjoy it. I will just put this out there, though. I have been thinking for a long time of having a ladies' competition. So Lisa and Claire, if you are listening, come back to me, because I've been thinking of a way of doing this for some time, and I would like a ladies' prize at the end, even if we only start that competition, say maybe from Christmas. So John Maltby, again, I'm assuming Joanne's. So that's 3 females in there. We could, so actually, we could already sort of start having a little group and having a ladies' competition in this. So Lisa, Joanne, Claire, if you want to contact me, I can arrange, a ladies' competition starting up anytime you like. Really, it would be great. So well done, Joanne. Sorry for the mispronunciation. I have a French friend who has the same first name as you, well, without the NE, and we will have to sort of go out of our way in England to pronounce it in the French way, otherwise it doesn't quite work. And I don't know, I just looked at Canada and thought French, which is probably the wrong thing to say, isn't it? Because Maltby doesn't sound a very French name to me. But anyway, Joanne, well done. I think it's brilliant. I think you've ridden a few races as well, so well done for you. Keep turning up. And as I say, if you are listening to this, I'm quite keen to get a ladies' competition going. And I've thought of a way of doing it. It's going to take a little bit of effort administratively for me, because I'm going to have to sort of pull out the ladies' result. But as I say, it will require ladies to enter, so that I know that which ones to look out for, rather than just sort of trying to guess when I'm looking at the results. As you can imagine, with 80 odd riders at the end of each race, there's quite a list to go through. And certainly some of the non-English names are not always names that I can identify as being male and female that easily. So Joanne with just 140 metres to go. As you can see the finishing line there. Well done, Joanne. Great to see you. And but I think it's fantastic that we're picking up a few lady riders. And as I say, let's get a ladies' competition going in this. We can build it for you guys. So one more, the Austrian JT. Is this Austria's answer to Jay-Z, obviously. Anyway, well done, Jay, and fantastic performance. Also remember, once you are out the back on your own, you're riding without the benefit of a pack, so the gap between you and a bunch ahead just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So don't underestimate how much effort has gone into finishing at the back. Jeff Peters, let's say my wife's name wasn't Jeff, but it was a J. So well done, Jeff. Obviously from Flanders, with a name like Peters with 2 E's. where I was last week, and I think I caught this cough, by the way. So a true Flandrian cough with the commentary today. So that's it. That's Jeff Peters just rolling home 7. Is somebody just ahead of him? Oh yeah, of course it is. It's JT, isn't it? So we've just got these two to come in. 500 metres, and I think once we see them go over the line, I think Damon can put up the results again. We'll have one more recap. Everybody can pat themselves on the back, and thank you very much for taking part. I mean, this is it's been another fantastic race. Oh, see, where did John Beams finish? I didn't pick him out on the results, did I? I need to. Damon, I need to see the results again. It's I forgot to look where he finished. I don't remember reading his name off the end, so I don't know. Hopefully, I hope nothing went wrong. So 300 metres to go for JT, and slightly more for Jeff Peters. The finish line is in sight. We can see Jeff Peters just behind JT. I don't think these two are going to duke it out for 74th and 75th position. But remember too that everybody gets points in this. And the other thing you can do is that if you ride 21 of these races, we will send you a badge to say that you've done 21 rides. It's called the 21 Done Club. We publish who's done 21 rides, and we publish how many rides people have done, as long as they've done more than 5. And essentially you can look on there and see how many rides you need to do to get up to 21. But I mean, you have to give us your email address, your address to send the badge to, of course. But as long as you contact us, we'll send you the badge free of charge in the post. And a number of people have probably got that. So, John Beam's 11th. Sorry, Pedlars. Well done, John. Only 1.6 seconds off those guys at the front, and Wouter and Ned, obviously seasoned sprinters. Just pipping Mark Rowbottom, I see from Ratio Racing, and James Melville. You see, look, that's teamwork. 13th and 14th, you've got the 2 Glasgow United riders, and I think that's fantastic. Little array of people all within. So what we got? We go up to, I say, probably 22nd. We get Tomasz Poniatowski for Moon Riders. The first 22 all within 4 seconds. As I say, I'm surprised at Casper's time there. I think something's happened to him. Rob Miller leading the next bunch, but it's spun out a little bit, isn't it? I mean, I suspect Rob Miller's sort of beaten Will in the sprint, and Sean's probably set up and let them two, burn themselves out. Steve May's on his own for the next one. Then we get Tom Moss, 34 seconds down. And I think this illustrates, I mean, we know that Tom Moss and that group, they were only 6 of them, whereas the front group, they had, up to 30 riders, and the draft effect in that 30 group is so much more. And that's why that gap goes from 8 seconds out at 26th position, right up to 31 with Steve Mays and Tom Moss and the next group. Because when you're in a small group, you're just not getting the same benefit as a peloton. And this is why in these races, you really want to see how long you can stay in the peloton, even if you know you can't make it, by getting on early at that fast and furious start. So that's the lineup. Hopefully you've been able to pluck through and seen how well you did if you were in the top 40. There's another 35 riders, of course. All the results will be published on www.westlondoncycling.com. And the next race is in exactly 2 weeks' time. And it'll be roughly 16 kilometres again. And it's going to be loads and loads of fun, just like this one. Hope to see you there. Thanks very much for watching. It's been brilliant. Cheers.